Hello and welcome back to Hank USA. I'm Hank. There's a financial truth a lot of seniors never hear. Right now, there may be money tied to your Social Security that you're entitled to but haven't claimed. This isn't some far-off future benefit. In many cases, it's money that's already been calculated and set aside. In others, it's money being quietly pulled out of your check month after month. And it'll stay exactly where it is unless you know the right questions to ask and the right steps to take. After years of working on senior finances, I've noticed the same reaction whenever people learn about this. They wish someone had told them sooner. A lot of them realize they lost out on thousands of dollars just because no one explained it. Today, we fix that. I'll walk you through a 5-point checklist. As we go, ask yourself whether each one fits your situation or your spouse's. Most people watching will find that at least one or two apply directly to them. Each one is real money that could be in your pocket. One thing before we start. Subscribe to Hank USA and turn on notifications. My whole focus is finding exactly these situations. Money you're owed that the system doesn't hand over on its own. The folks subscribed here are the first to hear when one of these opportunities opens up. So subscribe and let's get to your checklist. The first item is a quiet one. It's taking money every month from a large share of Social Security recipients, and most of them have no idea it's happening. At some point, maybe when you first applied, maybe years later, you might have filled out a form called the W-4V, the Voluntary Withholding Request. It's a simple instruction to the Social Security Administration telling them to hold back a set percentage of your monthly benefit for federal income taxes. The choices are flat rates, 7%, 10%, 12%, or 22%. If you filed one, that instruction has been followed on every check since, without change. And here's the thing to understand. The SSA's only job is to follow your last command. They don't check it against your tax returns. They don't look at your total income to see if the withholding still makes sense. They just keep doing what you told them, month after month, year after year, until you hand them a new form. Why does this matter so much heading into 2026? The big tax law signed in 2025 created a new $6,000 senior deduction. It doesn't replace anything. It stacks right on top of the standard deduction you already get. Here's what that adds up to. For a single person 65 or older, the deductions combined can reach $24,150. That's how much income you can have before you owe $1 in federal income tax. For a married couple where both spouses are 65 or older, that tax-free threshold climbs to about $47,500. The result is that millions of seniors now fall below those higher lines, which means their actual federal tax on their Social Security benefits is zero. They legally owe nothing. But the old W-4V they filed years ago might still say withhold 10%. So somewhere between $200 and $400 a month keeps getting sent to the federal government for a tax bill that no longer exists. Yes, you get it back as a refund the following April. But it was always your money. You handed the government an interest-free loan for up to a year. The fix is simple. File a new W-4V with a lower rate. Or, if your income is below those thresholds, choose 0. To check whether this is you, pull out your most recent Social Security payment stub, or last year's SSA 1099. If there's a line for federal tax withheld, that amount is leaving your check every month. If it is happening, download Form W-4V from irs.gov. Pick the rate that matches your actual tax situation for the year, or 0 if your income falls under those new deduction thresholds. Sign it and mail it to your local Social Security office. This part matters. Send it to the SSA, not the IRS. It usually takes 30 to 60 days, and you'll see the higher amount in your next check. The second item is closely tied to the first. Figuring out whether you're paying federal tax on your Social Security at all when you might not have to. Whether any of your Social Security is taxable comes down to one number the IRS calls your provisional income. It sounds technical, but you can work it out yourself in a few minutes. Start with all your income from outside Social Security. Pensions, withdrawals from your IRA or 401k, interest, stock dividends, any part-time work. Add any tax-exempt interest on top of that, like income from municipal bonds. Then take the full amount of Social Security you got for the year and add half of it to the total. That final figure is your provisional income. Now the thresholds. If you're single and your provisional income is below $25,000, none of your Social Security is federally taxable. 0. For married couples filing jointly, that line is $32,000. If you're under those numbers, your correct withholding rate on your Social Security should be 0, no matter what you might have checked on a W-4 years ago. What if you're higher? For a single filer between $25,000 and $34,000, up to 50% of your benefits can be taxed. Above $34,000, that taxable share can reach 85%. For couples filing jointly, the 50% range runs from $32,000 to $44,000, and the 85% range kicks in above $44,000. Take 5 minutes and run this with last year's numbers. If you land below the zero tax line of $25,000 single or $32,000 married, and you've got taxes coming out of your check, you've been prepaying a tax you don't owe. And the fix is the same one from item 1. File a new W-4V with the right rate, and the unnecessary deductions stop. The third item is for anyone who's lost a spouse. If you're a widow or widower, are you sure you're getting the highest benefit you're entitled to? This is one of the most commonly missed situations in all of Social Security, and the difference can reshape a retirement. The rule is this: when a spouse passes, the surviving spouse gets to choose. You can take your own retirement benefit or your late spouse's, whichever is higher. A widow or widower can receive up to 100% of what their late spouse was getting. And here's the part that costs people. The SSA won't switch you to the higher benefit on its own. The system isn't built to be proactive. In a lot of cases, a surviving spouse had already filed for their own smaller benefit years earlier, and after the loss, they just keep getting that same smaller check, not realizing the larger one is sitting there for the asking. Picture a widow whose own benefit is $1,400 a month. Her late husband's was $2,200. That's $800 more every month. $9,600 a year for the rest of her life. That's not a one-time check. It's a permanent raise. If you've lost a spouse and you're collecting Social Security, make the call. The SSA's main number is 1-800-772-1213. Ask the agent to pull both amounts side by side, your own retirement benefit and the survivor benefit based on your late spouse's record. Then have them confirm which one you're getting now. If the survivor benefit is higher and you haven't been switched, ask them to make the switch on that same call. And this holds whether your spouse passed recently or many years ago. There's no time limit on claiming the higher benefit you're owed. The fourth item is for anyone who worked a job where they didn't pay into Social Security. Have you confirmed you got the correction you're now legally owed? Millions of Americans, including teachers, police officers, firefighters, many federal workers, and other state and local government employees, paid into a separate pension instead of Social Security. For decades, two rules, the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, cut or even wiped out any Social Security these public servants or their spouses had earned from other jobs. That changed with the Social Security Fairness Act, signed in January of 2025. It repealed both the WEP and the GPO permanently, and it was made retroactive to January of 2024. Through 2025 and into 2026, the SSA has been working through these corrections, and the money involved is real. The average retroactive lump sum has been about $6,710, and ongoing monthly benefits have gone up by around $360 a month on average. But the work isn't finished. Not everyone eligible has gotten their correction. The SSA has said some of the more complex cases, especially spousal and survivor adjustments, are still being processed in mid-2026. So it's possible your file got overlooked or is stuck in the queue. If you ever spent part of your career in a public sector job with a government pension, be proactive. Log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov and compare your current monthly benefit to what you were getting before January of 2025. If you don't see a clear increase, call them and ask specifically about the status of your WEP and GPO adjustment under the Social Security Fairness Act. Use those exact words. And if you are the widow or widower of a public sector worker who was affected, you may be owed a retroactive payment and a permanent bump in your survivor benefit too. In most cases, that correction only happens if you ask for it. The fifth and final item covers two options most people are never told about. One is for those who claimed Social Security early and regret it. The other is for those past full retirement age who haven't filed yet. The first I call the do-over. It uses Form SSA 521. The rule: if you started your benefits and your first payment came within the last 12 months, you get a one-time chance to withdraw your application entirely. You repay the benefits you've received with no interest. After that, it's as if you never filed, and you can refile later to lock in a much higher monthly benefit for life. Here's how big that can be. Say a woman filed at 62 and gets $1,920 a month. If she's still inside her first 12 months, she can use Form SSA 521 to withdraw, repay what she received, then wait until 70 to refile. At 70, her benefit would be $3,379 a month. That's a permanent raise of $1,459 every month for the rest of her life. It's one of the most powerful correction tools in the whole system. But the catch is unforgiving. The 12-month window from your first payment is a hard deadline. Miss it by a day, and the option is gone. You also only get to do this once in your lifetime. For someone who felt forced to claim early during a rough patch that's since improved, this is a real chance to reset. The second option is for people already past full retirement age who haven't started collecting. For anyone born in 1960 or later, full retirement age is 67. When you do file, you can ask for up to 6 months of benefits paid as a single lump sum. Using the current average benefit of $2,081 a month, that's a check of over $12,000 delivered alongside your first regular payment. There is a trade-off, though. Taking the lump sum moves your official start date back 6 months, so your ongoing monthly amount comes out a little lower. Still, the immediate cash helps a lot of people, and the SSA agent usually won't mention it unless you ask when you call to file. So here's your 5-point action plan. First, look at your SSA 1099 or a recent payment stub. If federal tax is being withheld, move to the next step. Second, calculate your provisional income from last year's numbers. If it's below $25,000 single or $32,000 married, your correct withholding is 0. File a new W-4V to stop the deductions. Third, if you're a widow or widower, call the SSA. Ask for a side-by-side comparison of your own benefit and your late spouse's, and insist on whichever is higher. Fourth, if you or your late spouse worked a public sector job with a government pension, log into your SSA account or call. Confirm the WEP and GPO correction from the Fairness Act has been applied and that you got your retroactive lump sum. Fifth, if you started your benefits within the last year and have second thoughts, look into Form SSA 521 right away. And if you're past full retirement age and about to file, remember to ask about the 6-month retroactive lump sum. Most people watching will find at least one of these fits them, maybe 2. Every one is money you're entitled to, but they all require you to speak up and act. The system, by design, won't do it for you. This has been Hank with Hank USA. If this helped, please subscribe and share it with another senior or a friend who's on Social Security. It could make a real difference for them. I'll see you in the next one.